Hey, today is Wednesday, July 29th, 2020, and this is the Pro and Con Show, and I am your host, Michael James Ott. Welcome to the show. As always, welcome to the show. So, again, very briefly, the show was intended to try to hammer home repeatedly over hundreds of shows that we need to be better citizens, that we need to listen to each other, and we need to ferret out the facts, and the facts are complex. Doesn't fit on a hat, doesn't fit on a bumper sticker. We need to spend some time. I'm not talking about 40 hours a week, but I am talking about a few hours, a handful of hours a month probably. If you want to be a good citizen, spending a few hours a month, taking your head out of the sand, if you will, and hey, we gotta, these issues are serious, and I need to understand the fullness of the issue, the pro and the con, the good and the bad, the for and against. I need to understand this because that's how you make the best decisions. That's how you decide and formulate the problem, if you will, and then look at solutions that are appropriate. Because if you ignore any of that, then by definition you have a wrong definition of the problem, and the solutions that you consider to fix the problem probably aren't going to fix it because you're looking at the wrong problem. That's it. So, today's show is called God. Now, don't panic. I'm not going to try to influence you in any way, shape, or form about God. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my life story. And by the way, and this is, I'm telling you mine, because honestly, I wish I was in a place right at the moment where I could hear yours. And I'm sure your stories are interesting and meaningful to you and worthy of my attention. Anyway, so I just wanted to hit on a couple of high spots about God and what I think. And in no way saying that is what you should think, because one of the main things that I would offer, one of the big positives of living in the United States of America, is that the founders of this country, several of the groups that the colonists back in the day, they had different churches that they were parts of, and they had different sets of beliefs. And one of the things that they were fleeing, one of the tyrannies that we were fleeing as colonists, and then as we fought to make this independent country, one of the tyrannies was being told how to approach and walk with God. And this is the thing I would never begin to even suggest, that I should tell you how to walk with God. And that's one of the great, great, great things about the United States of America, is that most of us understand that that is a very personal, thing, a very independent, a very singular thing. Is you, whoever you are. I point the finger at you. Whoever you are, your walk with God is very much different than mine. And the way that religion has influence on you, and how you go about thinking about God and your relationship with God, that's up to you. That's between you and God. And one of the things that we struggle with sometimes is because some groups of people, they get enough people together that it becomes, say, 1 million or 2 million people or 5 million people, and they get their thinking that their thinking is consistent enough that, well, maybe they should control that. Maybe they should tell other people, what the right religion is and how to approach God. Now, I will tell you that I've done something that I think not a lot of Americans have done. And that is, I've read the Bible, King James Version. Okay, it's the one I had. I've read the Bible cover to cover twice, actually. The first time, my wife was pregnant with my daughter. And, I was born and raised as a Catholic, but had kind of fallen out of religion over time, especially like the organized go to church kind of religion. I've always felt, me personally, I kind of felt like my walk with God was an independent walk, that I could, feel the presence, if you will, or have a relationship with God without the need to go to a large synagogue or parish or other, building, and have that relationship without really the need to commune with others. Now, again, other people are very different, and I am not in any way saying that that's wrong or inappropriate. No way. Again, I'm saying that my walk with God is very much with me, and your walk with God is very much with you, and that's the way it should be. But anyway, so I read the Bible twice. The first time before my child was born, and then because I was wanting to be a good parent, and I thought this thing about the relationship with God and how I might try to raise my children or my child, it was important to read the Bible. And so I read it. And, honestly, I was so thoroughly confused by reading it that, I don't know, it was like a year after my daughter was born, I read it again, hoping that the second time some of the parables and metaphors and stories and stuff in the Bible, and especially some of the things that I had been taught in church and stuff like that, I thought they would become more apparent to me. That maybe I overlooked them, certain things. But anyway, so I read it twice. Actually, a second time, separated by like a year, hoping that the second time, some of the confusion I had when I read it the first time would clarify itself. And I have to say, generally, it didn't. I find the Bible to be a pretty confusing book with lots of what I believe to be metaphors for messaging about the way that people are supposed to behave. And and then I also saw that there was a transition between the Old Testament and the New Testament, which is, of course, anyone that knows about the Bible, who's read parts of it or studied any of it or whatever, knows that the New Testament is intended to be kind of a reset of a lot of the things that were in the Old Testament. Well, anyway, the bottom line is, I came to the conclusion, me personally, and this is my conclusion, and again, I'm not projecting it on you. I would encourage you to read the Bible. Read it from cover to cover. If you have any concerns over your walk with God, you should read the Bible or the Quran or other religious books that are appropriate for your search of your walk with God. I chose the Bible, but there's others, and you should do what makes sense. And you can cast as wide a net as you want in your search for your walk with God. But I came away with thinking, well, some of the things that I see and hear churches teaching, I just don't see it. I don't see it in the Bible. One of the big ones is tithing. And I've even had pastors and priests and stuff point to biblical verse in the Bible and say, this is where it says to tithe. No. And I think in the New Testament there's a place where Jesus is basically busts up a church because the priests there are demanding that people that go to the church are making payment to the church, and this is against, according to Jesus. Again, if I read it right, that's what it said to me. No, this thing with tithing is not something that exists, and yet I don't know how many various churches that I've been in where this was a staple of the preaching from the pastor or priest. But anyway, and in any case, the whole point behind the show is your walk with God is yours, and I fully applaud that. And I would encourage you to be very hesitant about pressing your vision, your architecture on your relationship with God on others, because this is America and that's not right. And that's one of the fundamental reasons why this country even exists, and why so many people around the world think it's so great, because we allow each other to walk with God in our own way. And that is the way it should be. For the Pro and Con Show, my name is Michael James Ott, and until the next show, bye for now.